Okay, so today they've asked me to talk about the Vishuddhi chakra. As I understand, you are going through the chakras one by one. And today we're going to talk about the one that is right here at the base of our throat. So it's a quite complex and very sensitive chakra. So there's a lot to talk about, actually. There's many things that needs to be explained about how it works, the different qualities on the left, the center, and the right, and also the different ways that we should take care of this chakra, because this chakra is particularly sensitive, because it's sort of our contact with the outer world. So it's like a filter. It takes in and processes a lot of energy through our senses. So I'm going to show you just a little overview of the Vishuddhi chakra. Let's see here. There it is. So you've probably seen this figure before. We call him Charlie chakra. And the Vishuddhi chakra sits at the base of the throat, and it is responsible, as all the chakras are responsible for a part of the body. So it's responsible for physical aspects. It's responsible for energetic sort of processes, like exchange and working out of things on an energetic level, which means that it has, you can talk about each chakra on a physical level, on a sort of a mental, emotional level, at the level of our psyche and personality and feelings. And of course, what you will learn about as you progress and develop more in Sahaja Yoga, how the chakras are responsible for our spiritual qualities. So it's really about our evolution as we start understanding these centers and how important they are. So it's very much about understanding ourselves. So as you can see, it controls the throat and the neck, the arms, hands, and all the senses. So mouth, tongue, nose, state of our teeth, etc. And cervical plexus means that there's from the center, from our spine, there are these plexuses of nerves that go out, they branch out, and they actually correspond, these plexuses correspond to our chakras. So I don't know if you've seen these drawings before about how the different chakras are also represented in the body. I haven't been present in all your previous lectures, but whenever there's something going on in a chakra, you might feel it directly on the body. You might feel it on one of the fingers, but you might also feel it on the head or on a part of the body, and also on the palm of your feet. So this figure here, when we study the chakras, we start to recognize what's going on in our own body. For example, the chakra we're going to talk about today, we recognize that the index finger is where we receive information about the state of that chakra. But you could also have sensations at this is at the hairline. Can I make drawings, Lebing, or not? No drawings. Okay, so
maybe it's not available at the moment.
It's okay. I'm just used to doing that for my other lessons.
Okay.
It's fine. So do you see the mouse when I'm moving the mouse? Are you seeing the movement of my mouse when I'm doing this?
Yes, we can see.
Oh, okay. So this is a point at the center of the hairline, which also represents the Vishuddhi. And then you have the wrists and the ankles and the second toe. So this could actually be important, because each person feel the movement and the pulsation of this energy in different ways. So sometimes in Sahaja Yoga, they will just teach you in the beginning, they will just teach you about the fingers, but actually maybe one of you don't feel it so much in your hands, but you feel it in your body. So it could be important for you to know that that's also normal. It's part of it. Okay. So the qualities of the Vishuddhi chakra are many. And there are many things that we can say about it. And I think if we can kind of summarize it, a very big part of the Vishuddhi chakra is your relationship to other people in terms of communication, how you communicate. And that reflects also very much how you feel about yourself. So, as you probably know by now, the chakras have 3 aspects. So there's this left, the right, and the center. The left relates very much to our emotional part and how we feel about ourselves. And the right side has more to do with other people and how we act and affect other people. And then the center is this place where we ascend and where we develop these virtues. You can call them virtues. I think that's a word we can use. So when Shri Mataji kind of developed a method to give realization to people, she, as you probably have done, you've done that exercise where you put your hand on the left side and you say these affirmations, right? Maybe you remember that, and then you say, I forgive, and then you feel the vibrations over your head. So here, she said that especially in the West, she had to include the affirmation, I am not guilty. Because it's such a big hurdle to our growth and to our ascent. It's a big block for, I don't know if it's everybody, most people, or just like a lot of people. So the left Vishuddhi has to do with our self-respect. You can also say maybe self-confidence and understanding boundaries. And on an unconscious level, without us realizing it, if we overstep certain boundaries or if we are disrespectful or we do something wrong, we might not think about it. But on a deep level, we know it's wrong and we can develop this guilt. So often people will feel very guilty and they're not aware of it and they're blocked on the left side. So when we get this guilt sitting on the left Vishuddhi, it means that the energy isn't moving there. And actually, if we go up to Mr. Charlie Chakra again, if we have a strong feeling of guilt, it can actually block our whole left side and we get a little bit disconnected from our emotions. We actually get a bit affected. Our whole emotional life gets affected. So it's a very important thing that Shri Mataji will mention in all the public programs and, you know, whenever she's giving realization to people and teaching beginners about Sahaja Yoga, that it's very important to become aware of this guilt and sort of free yourself from it. So that's something that each of us, we need to sort of introspect. So what Shri Mataji says about guilt is very interesting because she says it's a way of hiding. When you feel guilty and you kind of go over and over again something that happened that you feel guilty about, it's just a way of hiding. If you can really just confront yourself with it and get over it, guilt is gone. Okay, on the center, now on the right side, let's go to the right side. There's the beautiful qualities of the right side is when you can speak from the heart. So again, if we go up to Mr. Charlie Chakra, if you can imagine, the heart is down here. So the Vishuddhi is right above it. And above the Vishuddhi again, here starts Here starts, you see this movement here starts the ego and the superego. So if you get angry often, and if you tell a lot of lies, if you're sarcastic and you gossip a lot, you're kind of using the energy from the ego and the superego, and you're abusing, you're hurting your own Vishuddhi chakra. So it gets ruined, actually. It gets broken, it gets blocked, it gets bloated or constricted or whatever happens. We don't need to know. It's just there are ways of communicating that will hurt other people very often, but it's also hurting you. So if you have a tendency to lose your temper and raise your voice, or you can't stop gossiping, things like that, we all have those things. It's part of your growth and your sort of evolution to kind of balance that out. So that will affect the right Vishuddhi. And instead of your communication coming from ego and superego, it should come from the heart. And I think everyone can kind of feel the difference when you're speaking, and there's a softness to your voice. There's a beauty, and you feel that you can actually feel it, that it's flowing from your heart when you're speaking from respect and from love. Doesn't mean that you have to be super sweet and talk about your feelings and kiss and hug. No, it's just this, it's really very much about benevolence. I think that's the word Shmataji says. It's very much about benevolence. And then in the center, we have communication, which we've talked about, capacity to communicate, be eloquent. And then there's diplomacy, which can be a bit difficult to understand, but diplomacy has to do with knowing when to change the subject, when to just drop a subject, when to kind of make sure the other person feels comfortable with you, or you suggest something, but indirectly. So it's kind of an elegance to your communication that never puts anyone in a bad light, never makes anyone feel defensive or upset, so that you have this capacity to convey your ideas, but without aggression. Collectivity is a big thing in our spiritual growth. So this maybe we'll come back to later. It's more than just, acting collectively, like doing voluntary work or helping other people. It's much deeper than that. It has to do with something you really grow into. So you start becoming aware through this, Kundalini rising and the vibrations, developing your Vishuddhi chakra and your being. You start feeling like you are part and parcel of the whole. So it's an experience. And then you become able to go into the witness state. And here we're really talking about something that is a very deep and spiritual quality, where you're able to just witness, completely detached, but with an open heart, and you do not react. And you are completely in the flow of things. So I'm just going to mention these things. I'm not going to go too much into them, so that you have a general idea about what are the sort of virtues or the qualities of the Vishuddhi chakra. Just a very short list. These lists could be very long. As I said, it's a very complex chakra. So the left side, what will kind of hamper you is very much the guilt, or if you are not willing or not able to face and correct your own mistakes, you will get stuck there. In the center, difficulties to communicate and express. So maybe some people will talk too much. They can't stop talking. Some people, maybe they will get very kind of, the word just sulk, where you get kind of upset. So you go very, very quiet, and you don't want to speak to somebody for days. This is also sort of a Vishuddhi problem. People who are maybe extremely sweet, but they're kind of faking it. So they're like, oh, I like you so much, oh, this is amazing. And they just kind of go on and on and on. And they're not really actually expressing anything from their heart. This is also going to sort of affect and disturb your Vishuddhi. So it's very much about the balance and about respect. So one thing that Shimataji says often is that in order for your Vishuddhi to have a chance to develop, actually a lot of us, we need to just learn to be silent, to be more silent. So that's a tip. Okay, so that was my short overview. We're going to see a few short videos about vibrations, because the Vishuddhi chakra is our sort of vibratory perception instrument. I don't know if you guys are already feeling sensations on your hands or in your body or on points of your head when you meditate with us, or during these sessions, or even when you practice at home. We can do a Q&A at the end. We can talk to you about these sensations. You might feel heat and tingling, and it's very important for your kind of growth in Sahaja Yoga that you learn to interpret these sensations and that you understand what's going on, because it's your Vishuddhi chakra giving you information. So it's also fascinating and very interesting to discover these things. So let's see. First, we're going to see a video about what are vibrations. What are they? Oh, wait, I have to do something to make sure the sound goes through. Yes, I'm sharing sound. Good.
Vibrations, as I said, that is the manifestation of the spirit. But it is a very vague way of expressing it. Now see, there's a nice flame before me. This candle has been enlightened. Now what does it do? It gives you light. Alright. How does it give you light? By throwing light to us, by emitting light. It is the emitting of pulsation from the cell. This light, this is light. Actually there is sound, there is light, very high frequency sound, very high frequency. Actually many types of sound are mixed in this. There is magnetism in these vibrations. It has all the 5 elements, the subtle of all the 5 elements inside these vibrations. They are talking, they are telling you, they are guiding you, they are helping you. It's because the spirit is working through. Like this light you take in your hand, you go in the darkness and you see that there is impediment in between. You have to cross it. So you get the idea with this light. The light is doing that for you. So when the spirit pulsates in your conscious mind, then it is a self-realized personality. But in the unconscious, it is there all the time working. Actually, the spirit itself comes out. It's as big as your thumb is. You can contain your thumb in your heart like that. That is the reflection of God Almighty within us, because heart perceives that image within itself. It is pulsating and is emitting the knowledge through our unconscious. Spirit is an unconscious being till we are realized. Once we are realized, it becomes conscious. it starts emitting itself and pulsating. And what is spirit? Is God Almighty Himself in a miniature form which is reflected in us. The more we clean our heart, which represents all the 7 chakras within us. There are 7 auras around our heart. All the 7 chakras which are here in the Sahasrara, the seats are there, and all the 7 chakras that are within us. I have 7 auras around our heart. And when all of them are clear cut, absolutely clear, pure, integrated, then a complete emission starts of those vibrations. They are much more than I can explain because, say, the other day a lady was writing a letter to me.
Okay, so that was a very short and deep explanation of what are vibrations. It's like we get connected to the whole and we start receiving information. So we get to be guided by our spirit, by our deeper self, which sits in our heart, sort of waiting. And when we get our realization, then we can start working it out. We can start understanding and learning and growing with that. So it becomes something that becomes part of your life. And you decide from now on if you want this to be something you follow and learn about and develop in yourself. So I have another short video where there's a yogi asking Shri Mataji if we are all supposed to feel the vibrations, because in his experience, some people might not feel it, some people might feel it differently, etc. So let's see what she says.
Sahaja Yoga, who've been in Sahaja Yoga for a long time, don't feel cold breeze, they don't feel any catches. Some people feel burning all the time, some people feel the things in their head, in their body, toes, hands.
Can you hear anything? Sorry, I'm going to start again because I don't think it's very low, isn't it?
For a long time, don't feel cold breeze, they don't feel any catches. Some people feel burning all the time, some people feel the things in their head, in their body, toes, hands. Is there a way we're going to develop where we can feel things, all of us, all over, or is it just some people feel different things?
No, you see, to begin with, you see, it has something to do with your nervous system, all right? So if your nervous system is disturbed, you may not feel at all. For the nervous system, best thing is to do massage. You see, somebody should massage their back, hands. Also, I have told many a times that you rub your hands with vibrated olive oil quite a lot and rub these things so they become sensitive. Could be with insensitivity. But if they can feel the catches in the body, that means they're all right. Only the Vishuddhi is not all right. Rub the thing on the Vishuddhi, work on Vishuddhi, clear it out. And for Vishuddhi, if you can use, say, butter to rub on the here and rub all these muscles, you see, with that, all these things will work out for your hand. But supposing there's no cool breeze coming out of the head, possibly, then the realization is not yet established. See, other people should say whether there's a cool breeze coming, because the person who is not realized may not feel it. Supposing he does not feel it and you feel it, then he's realized only thing his chakras are to be cleared out. It's a different category of people. Then there are some people whose kundalini has not risen, they are still surgeries like that. Maybe. I don't know if there are any. Those people who are unmarried for long, they are very difficult people because they never feel the cool breeze in the hand quite a lot like that. But it is not so. They are realized souls. In any case, they may not feel it, but they are realized souls, you see. because a kind of a softness, a kind of a balance is developed after marriage, which is not there. And that's how some people don't feel. There are various reasons. Some people who are ego oriented more, they should turn their left to the right many a times. They should find out from the hands, you see. One hand is bigger, one hand is smaller. That means the left side, if it is smaller, that means you have to raise left to the right. You see, from the size of the hands and all that you can see. Putting one hand towards the photograph, another hand outside. Work it out in so many ways because you have permutations and combinations of certain mystics. But that doesn't mean you develop this left Vishuddhi by any chance. Because that's the worst thing that can happen. If you develop the left Vishuddhi, then it's a very difficult situation. Now, for this kind of a thing, I think I'll give you a complete lecture on one day, complete, as to see what permutations and combinations of different chakras can create. All right? But symptoms are outside. The symptoms are mostly outside. There's no need to, from a personality, you can see what it is he's catching. It's a very great problem with people, that they don't feel the vibrations. Some people just don't feel. How many there are like that, who never feel any vibrations? Never felt. Never. Raise your hand. I know Kelly.
No, never.
And you never, you have felt it sometime. All right.
Mother, since I came to the ashram, I think
Okay, so we're now going to do a little bit of a practical part of this program. If you want to turn on your cameras, that's absolutely fine, so I don't feel so alone here. I don't see anybody. If you want to, it's up to you. Hello, everybody. How nice to see you. Oh, so many beautiful people. I was just talking into the screen, you see. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Prashant. Are you there with your whole family? Hey, Bergen. Hello, Andrew. I know some people here. You see, Vishuddhi is about collectivity. So this is the joy of the collectivity. We have to, be together. This is important. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of a mini workshop with you guys. Am I spotlighted now, or do you see me well?
yes.
We can see you.
Oh, okay. I'm in the center. So I asked you to bring some oil. So Shimataji mentioned in this video, by the way, before I start, is there any questions about everything I just went through? Is anybody like totally confused about anything I said? No? Should we just go on? No questions? Hi, Anna. Okay, so first we're going to do a little workout for the Vishuddhi. So sometimes there are physical exercises that we can do that will help our chakra. And actually, if we think about yoga, all the postures and all of that, it's actually created for a person who then goes deeper and develops their kundalini and the chakras. So in Sahaja Yoga, we don't do a lot of physical postures or things like that. We don't get down on the floor and do all those things. But there are a few things that we can do that we might actually feel enhances our vibrations. So I'm going to show you first an exercise that we're going to do. I'm just going to show you and explain you, and then we can do it together. Before we do that, what I want you to do is to keep your hands open and just try to assess how you are right now. What state are you in? Because the Vishuddhi chakra is very much about self-awareness and noticing the subtle information that we receive from our spirit. So you are already the spirit, and you are already a subtle body. It's not like now you started Sahaja Yoga, suddenly you have chakras. No, you've always had them, and human beings have always had them since the beginning of time. So it's just that you are becoming aware of them now. You're learning what it means to be aware of the subtle dimension of yourself. So you just pay attention to your body, sensations in your hands. You feel some sort of a tingling or heat. Is there a difference between left and right? I want you to pay attention and try to remember, because when we've done this little workshop, I want you to see if something has changed. So it's already a part of you becoming more aware. So whenever Shri Mataji would teach Sahaja Yoga and do exercises with people, she would always be asking, are you feeling better? How are you now? What changed? What's going on? It's like always experimental, always checking in the moment. What state are you in? So it's very much about awareness. Can you see if there's already some energy flowing over your head? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Can you kind of check in with your heart and feel? Do you feel calm and peaceful? Do you feel a little bit stressed and anxious? Or do you not know? Sometimes we check in with our heart and we don't feel anything. Okay, so do you like this with your hands? It's like you have two scales and you try to feel, because when we do this, suddenly we tend to feel that one hand is a little bit heavier than the other. So just notice right now, my left is a little bit heavier than the right. Okay? So this is just information. I just want you to pay attention to it. Okay. So now I'm going to show you the little physical exercise. So I'm going to ask you to take your tongue. You don't do it right now. I'm just going to explain the sequence. You're going to take your tongue up and back. So it's not touching the roof of the mouth, but it's pointed up and you push it back. And then you're going to push your chin down while the tongue is back. And then you're going to push your stomach up into your chest. And all the while, you keep your attention above your head. So it's a bit awkward, but it's a fantastic workout for the Vishuddhi. Okay. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to stay there for a little bit, and then we're going to release it. Then we're going to do, I'm wearing earplugs now, but you're going to stick your fingers in your ears, and you're going to stretch your head back, and you're going to look up into the sky. So we're going to stay there for a little bit, and then we're going to do something very simple. We're just going to stretch, or kind of, not stretch, we're going to just let our head fall to one side and keep the attention over the head, and then on the other side and keep the attention over the head. Okay, so the shoulders should be very relaxed, almost like hanging. You shouldn't do anything with your shoulders. Okay, so this is the workout. First we go down in the front, the tongue back, and then we take the fingers in our ears and we go back, and then we go to each side. Shall we try? Okay. So first tongue up and back. Push back your tongue. It's pointing upwards. Actually, the Kundalini is flowing through it and up into the head. Now push down the chin. Bow down. Now push your stomach up into the chest. And hold it a little bit. So you can relax your tongue now. Keep your attention above the head. And you can let go and come back to normal. Fingers, index fingers in your ears. Let your head fall back and look up in the sky. Eyes open, attention above the Sahasrara. We can come back down. Can come back down. Okay, tension up here. Just let your head fall to one side. You can let it fall to the right side first. And really give it a good natural stretch. You're not forcing it. Attention above the head. Come back to center and feel the effect. And let the head fall to the left now. Relax your shoulders, let your arms hang. Just the weight of your head. Keep your attention above the head. And we can come back. So just notice now. Just sit a little bit. Try and notice if there's more energy flowing in your throat, in your neck, in your hands, in your head. So now we're going to take our arms and our hands and we can stretch them high up. And you can take you can look up. And we're just going to sit here a little bit. And some of you might start feeling a sort of a cool trickling down your arms and down into the Vishuddhi. If you sit for a minute, you might start feeling cool vibrations coming down your arms. Okay, take down our arms. Is anybody feeling any sort of a flow or a shift? So we're going to do some massage now. Srimataji mentioned in the video that massage is very, very helpful in order to become more sensitive. So we can start without the oil. Okay, we can start by just massaging very gently the tip of our shoulder. I don't know if you know, but we have 2 sub-chakras on the shoulders. Have they learned about these chakras, Ila? No? No? Okay. So we have 2 chakras on the shoulders that are part of the Vishuddhi. So the Vishuddhi is kind of complex and have all these kind of satellites. So on the left and the right shoulder, you can massage the tip of the shoulder, and you can also massage right here. I don't know if you're able to see, but right here where before the kind of the bone, right? Underneath the clavicle here. So gently, gently rotating. These chakras are the chakras that give us sort of the power to move the kundalini and to raise the kundalini and to move the vibrations around. So if these chakras are blocked for some reason, your whole left or right channel could be blocked. So the Vishuddhi is so sensitive to everything that goes on in your life, all your relationships and your interactions and work. And it's very easy that it gets caught up. And when you get caught up, you can get sort of insensitive. You stop feeling, and then you're not aware that you're caught up. So it's important to stay sensitive. So you said, Sushi Mataji said in the movie that it can be a problem when people don't feel vibrations because they don't have access to this information. Okay, so we've massaged it's called the Lalita chakra and the Shri chakra. That's the name of this. So now we're going to take some oil, whatever you have. As you heard, Shrimataji actually said you can use butter, but I'm going to use some oil. So I'm going to just take some oil, a few drops on the palm of my hand. So we're going to massage the hands. So what can happen is that the Vishuddhi, as I said, it controls the arms and the hands and the, you know, all the senses. So our face, basically. What can happen is that when we are, whether we want it or not, we are moving a lot of energy with our interactions with the world. And it can kind of get stagnant and it can get kind of stuck. And it can be a very helpful thing to do some self-massage. Okay, so I'm not doing anything sort of very organized right now. I'm just kind of getting in there and actually using a bit of force on both the hands and, you know, getting into the joints. And it's very nice to massage from the base up. Okay, so when you get your realization, it's like your nervous system, you know, your nervous endings are kind of on the skin. But after realization, it's like your nervous system is now out here or out here. Actually, it doesn't end, but that's another story. So you're starting to perceive things that are going on in your aura. Okay, so all of these things that you hear about, the chakras and the auras and the energy, it kind of sounds a bit oogie boogie, but it becomes reality. It becomes part of your daily life, right? It's just something that you just deal with every day. Oh dear, my this and this chakra is like burning. Oh, I have to correct it. Oh, I just do the thing and now I corrected it. So it's amazing, actually. It's a tool for self evaluation. What's the name? What's the word? Diagnosis. Okay, so yes, we can just do a general hand massage. And then if you need more oil, you can take a bit more oil. And we can actually massage our neck. So you can take the right hand and give yourself a deep circular massage here at the back. So of course, this is good for other reasons. We might have, you know, stress and tension and spend a lot of time in front of the computer, etc. But what we're doing now on another level is that as we're massaging our hands start to flow more energy. And as those hands that are flowing more energy are starting to massage the Vishuddhi and the head and parts of the face, suddenly we are vibrating and healing ourselves, actually. So we can massage the throat carefully, gently, the muscles that go down on each side. And even just applying a bit of oil on the throat, not so much for the sake of massage, but actually to lubricate the skin. So everything that is connected to the Vishuddhi, it's very beneficial to keep it lubricated. So in many cultures in the East, they will oil their head. They will have oil in their hair and they will apply oil on their skin before taking a bath. So in the West, we often have like dry skin, and the air might be dry, and we might have, you know, air conditionings or heating systems that dry the air, and maybe we live in the cold, so the air is naturally also very dry. So all of this affects our Vishuddhi very much because it needs to be lubricated. So I actually do this in my ear. I actually take a few drops. Oh, you can't see it now because I have this funny, I have the dropper, and I actually take a drop of oil in my ears, and then I take my head back and I can feel the oil kind of going in and, you know, lubricating the inner ear. And then I just let it run out, and I take it off with a bit of toilet paper. And, you know, I have kind of taken care of my ears, because all of this is part of the Vishuddhi. So another thing that Shri Mataji asks us to do, which I'm not going to ask you to do now, but I'm going to show you. I hope you don't think it's gross, but we're going to take, because the sinuses are, you know, the sinuses, what they are? You know what the sinuses are? So the sinuses are this kind of hollow spaces up here, right? And sometimes we get a headache, and we get the infection, and we get all these problems, right? So there's a little chakra sitting right here. Have they learned about the Hamsa, Ila? No? Ooh, so much to learn. So the Hamsa is another sub-chakra that is part of the Vishuddhi that sits right here, and is an extremely important chakra. Why? Because it gives us our sense of discrimination. It gives us our sense of, that's not right for me. Yes, that's the right thing. Oh, that feels beautiful. Oh no, that, you know, it's like, it's this very subtle capacity we have to distinguish between right and wrong, or what is sacred and what is not. So it's really an important sense for us to have on our spiritual journey. Very, very important. So we can massage the Hamsa. We can just take a little bit of oil, and we should use this finger, the Vishuddhi finger, and we can just massage it like this, and we can also massage the eyebrow. So we're clearing out this chakra should it be congested, okay? That's something you can do whenever you feel that you get sort of mentally tired, mentally confused, you're not able to think very straight, or there's a lot of information coming your way. This can be very helpful. Okay, so I'm going to do something now for you to understand. This here is clarified butter that I make myself. And this is one of those things that Shri Mataji said, you should be doing this every day. I do it maybe a few times a week whenever I remember. So this is how I do it. People do it differently. Some people will heat it up and make it liquid. I just take a little bit on my nail like this. And then I put it on the palm of my hand like that, and it starts to melt. Okay, and then when it starts to melt, I just pick it up with a Q-tip, and I'm not gonna, this is a bit gross, but I take it up my nose, and then I take it inside the cavity of my nose as far as back as I can go. It's like a coronavirus test. And then I sniff it in so that it lubricates the inner part of my nostril. This is extremely beneficial for you, okay? And it's part of this whole understanding of our subtle system and how sensitive it is, okay? So I'm not going to do it now because for you don't have to look at me sticking things up my nose. Okay, so we've massaged the Vishuddhi and the Hamsa. And
there's a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question.
In the chat.
Okay, clarified butter. So in India they call it ghee. Ghee. It's, you buy unsalted butter and you put it in a pan and you boil it for 20 minutes until everything kind of drops to the bottom, and then you just pour it over into a container, and it's fantastic for cooking. It's like the best. And you can take a little bit off, keep it in a little jar or something, and doesn't smell much. You can even use it on your skin like that, on your Vishuddhi. But especially for the sinuses, it protects the Hamsa chakra. So it has to do with when you know, as I'm saying, you know, I keep repeating myself, when you're processing all this energy and you're interacting with people and they're up in your face, and, you know, you have to go to a shop or whatever, there's a lot of energy coming your way. So the lubrication of the skin on all the parts of the Vishuddhi, it protects you. It actually protects you and it helps you, it soothes you, it's very soothing, and it makes you feel so much more comfortable, like in yourself. I don't know how to explain it. If any of the other yogis would like to comment on these practices, if you do these things, how they make you feel. So it's not just me talking. You can use, yeah, you can use coconut oil, I think. I think Shimata just said you can use olive oil if you want. Coconut oil, olive oil, all of those are fine.
Yeah, especially for Hamsa Chakra here, it's nice to put some like clarified butter or even oil inside, because I have felt, especially in winters, that this is quite dry when I wake up. But when I put it, then I feel much better, much lighter. The heaviness here is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ila. It's nice to hear people's experiences because, you know, we actually do this, you know, we live Sahaja Yoga every day and we meditate every day and we take care of our subtle system every day. And we try to clear out and really take good care of our chakras because they're so precious and they work so hard for us.
Can I add something there?
Yeah.
I think it's very important you use cold press oil.
Yes, as pure as you can, everything as pure as you can, absolutely.
Not cold press, to just lie on the skin and don't go in.
Oh, okay, fantastic, thank you. Also the ghee, I mean, you can buy ghee, but what is probably, they might mix in some preservatives and things, you know, you never know. So it should be as pure as possible. Thank you, Emma, it's important. Okay, so we've massaged our Hamsa. We can also move beyond the Hamsa. If you're doing this as a kind of routine, every now and then you do this self-care, you can use this finger, okay, the ring finger, and you can massage the agya. And you can also take your whole hand like this, just really pull it over your forehead like that. It can be a really relief to do that. Just pull your hand over your forehead. And then you kind of shake it off and put that energy to the ground. Okay. So it's already almost 8 o'clock. Today we didn't meditate. We just talked. I just want to add one little thing, which is because we've kind of been moving upright, we have our hands massaged. We're taking care of the Vishuddhi and the Hamsa, and then we can take the fingertips. This something, it's what helps me to meditate. It's what helps me to kind of settle down, to give a really sort of deep massage. And there is a whole sequence that we can teach you later on. That has to do with specific points on the head. But for now, let's just massage the whole scalp with our fingertips and know that our fingertips are moving energy and releasing energy. And of course, the scalp can get very tense from all of our thinking and all the heat that moves up from our whole subtle system. So this one technique, some people, when they've learned it, they've kind of found it to be like the missing link, the thing they needed to be able to relax and feel more spacious and be able to meditate. Okay, so how does that feel? So we can just take the right hand now and move it in front of us. And just take the Kundalini up like that. Full attention on your hand. Slowly. Your attention follows the movement of the hand always. And you can press the palm on the upper part of your skull and just massage a bit with the center of your palm. So let's just take a few moments of silence and just enjoy that area above the head. As we sit in meditation, it can be nice to have this gesture of bowing very slightly so that you are humbling down and bowing to your own heart. Because we meditate in order to feel our own spirit. And as the spirit awakens, it rises and settles in the Sahasrara at the top of our head. So there's this beautiful connection between our heart and the Sahasrara. And the Kundalini is the pure desire for this to happen. So all we have to do is ask. Mother Kundalini, please let the spirit come into my attention. Let me become aware that I am the spirit. Let me know the truth of who I am. Please awaken the spirit in my heart. Something that will strengthen the flow of your Kundalini greatly is your gratitude. So when you stay with your attention in the Sahasrara, you can thank your Mother Kundalini. Thank you for giving me self-realization and for flowing and for letting me feel and have all these new experiences. Thank you for letting me experience this beautiful collective, this group of people. Just whatever feels natural for you to give thanks. So in Sanskrit, the word for vibrations is Param Chaitanya. So we ask the whole of Param Chaitanya to flow upon our subtle system. May we experience this power in our subtle system.